Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. Joke here, and today I've got another video going over some games that I've previously reviewed but added them to my ranking every Evercade game list. This time round I'm covering the Broken Sword collection and the Legacy of Kain collection. For the full reviews, feel free to check out my review videos for them, which will be linked below. Gotta do the shameless plugging, I suppose. Anyway, let's start off with the Legacy of Kain, as that was released first. And the first game of that was Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, which was released for the Sony PlayStation in 1996, which can reductively be called a gothic Zelda type game. I had this back in the day and I was a huge fan of it, so it's safe to say that I was looking forward to it coming to the Evercade, and despite a few niggles, it is still a great game. The main niggles being that the combat is a little bit rough around the edges and the loading times. But it's still a decent sized adventure with a great story and atmosphere, which to place it in my overall ranking of every Evercade game ever, I would have to place it above Tomb Raider 2 but below Tomb Raider. Moving on to the second game on the collection, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which naturally is the second game in the series and the first one to go into 3D. Developed by Crystal Dynamics and released in 1999, this sequel sees you controlling Raziel, and the former protagonist Kain from the first game now is the Antagonist. Being a later era PlayStation game, it doesn't suffer from some of the control issues of the Tomb Raider games. It controls much more fluid than those do, and is generally technically more impressive all round. Once again, it has a really good story, and it's told extremely well with some great voice acting, atmospheric music and some very impressive visuals. Again, it's a game I played and enjoyed back in the day, although that was the Dreamcast version I played, and this PlayStation version doesn't look quite as good, but it still holds up pretty damn well. To place it in my overall ranking of every Evercade game ever, it takes the top spot. So moving on to the Broken Sword collection, and I will start off with the first game, Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars. Now straight off the bat, it is a very good point-and-click adventure. This PlayStation version isn't the best version out there, and there's been some issues with how it runs on the Evercade, although those do seem to be patched. The addition of mouse control also helps a bit as well. Performance does get a bit laggy in places though, and that does work against it somewhat. So that does factor into where I place it in my overall ranking, which I would put it above Creatures 2, but just below Soul Deece. The second game, Broken Sword The Smoking Mirror, is essentially more of the same. It's another point-and-click adventure following George Stobart as he goes on a globe-trotting adventure, but this is a better port than the first game. Although the game itself and the adventure I don't think is quite as compelling as the first game, how it runs on the Evercade does mean I'm going to rank it higher than the first game, even though I prefer the adventure of the first. If that ran as well on the Evercade as the second game does, that would have been ranked higher. But anyway, ranking Broken Sword The Smoking Mirror, I would put it above Another World, but just below Bad Dudes vs Dragon Ninja. In some ways I wanted to place both games a bit higher, but the almost one and done nature of point-and-click adventures work against them slightly in that respect. Anyway, I've covered what I wanted to in this video, so I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and if you haven't, why are you still watching? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.